So today we're going to talk about profit, maximizing quantity, and price. Introduction. How will you know if you're losing or gaining profit? A cost analysis enhances your business decision. As a monopoly supplier, you will want to know your equilibrium price and quantity. Additionally, the presentation will guide you to the right decision on producing your quantity. So today we'll address different calculations to determine the profit, maximizing quantity, and price. First, we're going to talk about total cost. So for total cost, you can see the differences between total fixed cost and total variable cost. As shown above, the total cost is the total economic cost of production and is made up of variable costs. The total fixed cost is the same priced item that was at the beginning. For example, you started with 0.45 in total cost. Well, your fixed cost will remain the same. The total variable cost is calculated by taking your total cost and then subtracting the fixed costs. So TC minus TFC equals TVC. The graph expresses the change in TVC when TC increases, but TFC will remain the same. So as you see in the graph above, TFC, which is total variable cost, is remaining the same. It's flatlined. And then you see the variable cost, it is going with the total cost, which it changes as the total cost increases. Next, we're going to talk about average cost and marginal cost. So you have three different average costs: average total cost, average fixed cost, and average variable cost. The average total cost is calculated by dividing the total cost by quantity, in millions here. The average fixed cost is calculated by the total fixed cost by quantity, the average variable cost is parentheses TC minus 0.45 parentheses closed divided by quantity. The average total cost and the average variable cost gradually increases as the total cost increases. The average fixed cost is decreasing as the total cost increases. The marginal cost is calculated by change in total cost divided by change in quantity. Marginal cost represents the incremental cost incurred when producing additional units of goods or services. Also, marginal cost will help determine your equilibrium price. So as you can see, the average total cost is the light green line across the graph, and you can see how it starts off at the 0.45, but it gradually decreases. And then the average variable cost is increasing as the total cost increases. As the marginal cost is increasing as well. And then the average total cost is straight across, but increases as, the amount goes up, but it's still it doesn't have very wave as a difference as the average variable cost. Alright, so that is that slide, and we're going to move on to equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. How to determine the equilibrium price and quantity. In this case, the equilibrium is determined when marginal revenue and marginal cost are equal. So in the table below, you can see the calculations that we made, and you can also see your total fixed cost, your total variable costs, the average total cost, the average fixed cost, the average variable cost, and your marginal cost. And then you can see where you are profiting or you're losing money. So the equilibrium price is the market price where the quantity of goods supplied is equal to the quantity of goods demanded. Above, the table shows 2.73 million is the equilibrium price for when marginal revenue equals marginal cost. The company is at its highest profit when marginal revenue equals marginal cost. As a business, you want to generate the highest profit but at a reasonable expense. After the 5 million quantity mark, as you see on the table, your company is at a loss. The marginal revenue is lower than the marginal cost. So you're costing your business more because your expenses went up and you're not generating the revenue like you should to cover the cost. Okay, moving on to profit maximizing. So this is the graph for the profit maximization is MC equals MR, which is the marginal cost equals the marginal revenue. Profit maximization occurs at the most significant gap or the biggest difference between the total revenue and the total cost. The profit maximization can determine if you want to increase operation hours to increase revenue. For example, you notice more revenue can increase in an hour of work can increase if an hour of work was allotted. Profit maximizing can help decide when operations should close the door. In the graph above, you can see when the marginal cost is higher than the marginal revenue, then you start to create a loss. If marginal revenue is higher than the marginal cost, then you will generate profit. The graph above will help you decide what's best for the company. All right, in conclusion, your company can generate the highest profit at the price of $2.73 million and the quantity of 5 million. If you increase your quantity, the company will start losing revenue and increasing liability. Overall, you should consider the options of profit maximization. Further, you want to generate high marginal revenue and marginal low cost. Alright, and so you can see the references here, and then I will post the video link in this slide. Thank you for listening.